Waluigi time!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's I, Taylor Field. Yes, this is right, another episode of Players Perspective. If you're lucky enough, you're getting these episodes on Patreon, because these episodes are just flying out early, which is fantastic. If you aren't on Patreon and you're just tuning in for the first time, that's fantastic because Players Perspective, what we're all about here, is we're basically looking at games from the legendary Gamecube, PS1, Xbox original kind of era. Really, really good time where lots of great games are coming out and you just, you're having a hoot with your friends. It's a fantastic time. And, there's so many games that have just been, collecting dust on the shelves. So, this is all about diving into those games, seeing how they hold up, today and just what they're feeling like. And, yeah, just kind of doing reviews on them. So, if you haven't checked out our past episodes, I think our first one was, why am I drawing a blank? Bionicle for Gamecube. Great game. Check out that first episode premiere. Second episode was on the original Star Wars Battlefront, which again, fantastic episode. And then this episode that you have tuned into, we are covering in celebration of September, which is like when all the sports games usually come out. And normally, I'm more of an NHL guy, but I thought, this game, I enjoy these soccer games so much. And, in celebration of FIFA 20 that comes out, I think, September 19th, FIFA Street is the GameCube game that I am going to be covering today. So, yeah, my experience, I'll start off with FIFA Street, extremely limited. This was not a game that I played growing up. In fact, the first time I played FIFA Street was FIFA Street 2. It was at Dillon's for, I think it was the Sports Gauntlet Championship or whatever, one of the very, very beginning rounds. This is me and Kirkland, and I don't even know if that I can't even remember if that aired or what happened to that first rounder because I've never seen it since. And needless to say, I got bopped anyways. FIFA Street 2, it was definitely taking a little bit getting used to, but it pulled me into this world. Okay, I love FIFA Street. I don't mind playing the FIFA games. All the time, me and my friends, we'd be going to EB Games, and they have those, Xbox 360s that are on display there, and you could just play whatever games they had on there, and be like, okay, let's get the FIFA on, we're going to do some FIFA, and it'd be so much fun, but the game itself it's just such a large map to cover, in regular FIFA, and there's nothing wrong with that, and, it's a soccer game, it's what it's supposed to be that way, it's supposed to be realistic, and I like that, but it's just something between all the sports games, NHL I like more. It's more fast-paced, and, it's something that I had a lot of fun playing that with my friends. That was a game I brought it home, played with my friends, doing EA clubs and stuff like that. Just a great time setting up our teams, but FIFA was never something I really got into, but I love soccer. I used to play soccer for a few years, and yeah, it's a great time. So that's why I was really interested in FIFA Street, because after playing FIFA Street 2, it gave me serious Super Mario Strikers for GameCube vibes. It felt super awesome, and like Strikers, obviously, it's a little bit more crazy because you got charge shots and you got items and all that stuff. This doesn't have that. This is just trick shots, and the trick shots are super cool. So I happened to stumble into a secondhand store, which again, that's where I find all these great games, like Star Wars Battlefront. Found that in a secondhand store, prime condition. Found this FIFA Street copy, GameCube, prime condition for $3. You can't go wrong with that. So I was like, yeah, I'll get it, and been playing it. And am I good at it? No. There's many things that I would prefer. If I ever find a copy of FIFA Street 2, I'm definitely gonna snag it because I definitely enjoyed that more than this one. This one's great. I love the trick shots. I love that you can customize, a character. I love that you can build your own team. I love all that stuff. I love how you can take your team into the tournament, I guess you could call it, and basically, face off against other guys, upgrade your characters, and just playing different locations and stuff is a lot of fun. And I like how it's just, a straight up first to five. It's really cool. It's been a long time since I played FIFA Street 2, but I can't remember all the details and all of the gameplay stuff they have in there, but one thing that I really like about FIFA Street 2 is the overhead camera. I'm not a fan, and I don't really do this with NHL either, but I'm not a fan of sideways play, even though it's probably a lot more even that way when I think about it, but I'm definitely more of a fan of top to bottom, top down kind of a play, with NHL. and it alternates the people between, if you're playing not split screen but couch co-op, it alternates you from top to bottom, so forth, between periods. And so I really like that about FIFA Street 2. FIFA Street 1 doesn't have that. It's only got the sideways play, and you can zoom in, far, or kind of medium, middle. And I don't mind that. I definitely, you get used to it. You play it, you get used to it, so it's fine. And the game itself, it's a lot of fun. I'm trying to think. It doesn't really have a campaign, and I guess for soccer games they don't really need a campaign. I guess that's just like the tournament mode, and you just play. So I mean, it can feel like a bit repetitive, but I do enjoy, just the fast pacedness of it. The AIs, I'm not gonna lie, are relentless. They're brutal, and they take no prisoners. The charged, tricked out moves you can do, I find myself having a lot of bad luck with it. Now, it's basically, to do those, like your charge shot or whatever, you're basically doing enough trick shots in consecutive order without letting the enemy touch the ball. And then it basically builds up your charge meter, and then you get like, you hit like LB at the same time. The L bumper and the B button, sorry, at the same time. And then you can do like a slow motion, power shot. And I thought, okay, this is like a guaranteed goal by the looks of it, because the AI has done it to me several times, and it like hits the goalie dead on, but it goes through him and into the net. So it's like, okay, this must be like a striker's charge shot where it's, if you nail it, you're gonna get it in. So I thought, okay, so I started doing it, and every time I started doing it, I realized, okay, the goalie is blocking it every single time. I had like 2 that managed to get into the net, but other than that, like, I realized, okay, I must be doing something wrong, because this goalie is too good, and I'm not able to get my shots in with this charge shot. When you are about to activate it, I realized, okay, I can actually deke out the person. I can like smash into them and stop them from doing it, which is funny because the commentator goes wild, freaking out that happened. And another thing too is, unfortunately, it is something you probably can exploit. That being said, like, if you hold the ball in your zone and you just do a bunch of dekes, like, or trick dekes, to yourself, really quick, back to back, before the enemy gets to you, you can charge, or it tallies up and charges up, and you have that charge shot, which I don't believe runs out at all. I thought, because there's one point where I had one and I wasn't able to pull it off in time, and the enemy team scored on me. I thought, okay, well, I'm gonna lose it and have to, build it up again. But when the match started up again, I still had it, and I thought, okay, that's a little odd. I feel like I shouldn't have it. I feel like I should be forced to get it again. Again, that's probably something that's a little bit broken in my opinion, because you could just hide on your side, build that up real quick, and then carry it down the end of the field and then just use it, that slow motion trick shot, charge shot. Definitely feel like that's a little bit cheap, but that being said, it can be a bit tricky if you are playing against those AIs, because you start doing the dekes and they charge at you and try to get that ball away from you. If you're playing against friends on couch co-op, definitely don't tell them that strategy. Just do it, exploit it, and watch the magic happen. So lots of fun teams on here. I did. When I started off playing this game, I just did, your basic matchup, and I was like, okay, I'm going to play as Germany, and I picked the other team as France, and just, went to town. Normally I go for, like, Brazil or stuff like that, but I like Germany as a team. They're pretty cool, and yeah, no, I that was a very close game, actually, because that was my first one, and it was all about me just trying to learn the controls, so I kept referring to the guide and like looking at the controls and the dekes you have and stuff like that. So you got your tackle, excuse me, you got your tackle that you can do. Basically you got like your block that you can do in front of them, and you have I think it was like a steal, your slide tackle, and that's pretty much it. It wasn't like a huge amount of like defensive moves, but for what you had, it worked. I'll pull up the manual here just to be sure. Ooh, look at that. Sweet manual with a coaster. Ooh, there's a coaster stain on it. Someone was using this manual as a coaster. It's not what you want to do. Ooh. Okay. General gameplay. Here we go. Ooh, okay, so we got some serious cool names for these tricks here. So when you're doing your tricks, you can hit Y to do tricks, and then you can also use the skill C stick, like your skill stick basically, or the trick stick, sorry, is what they call it. So that basically lets you do your tricks and stuff. So you got the nutmeg. Okay, so when you're running, you flick it down, it does the nutmeg. If you're standing, it does the panna. If you're shielding, it does the backbeat. If you're going up C stick, you're doing the pot of gold while you're running. You're doing the pick and flick while you're standing. And when you're shielding, you're doing the get over it. C stick down with L button. Hopscotch when you're running. Nuts when you're standing. And the roundabout when you're shielding. Okay, so when you're running with this one, the crazy legs. Then you're standing, you got under the bridge. And when you're shielding, back to biscuits. Back to biscuits. Now that's a move I'm gonna have to practice on. Okay, and we got the penna nana, and we got the violin and the jog on when you're shielding. Running again, we got twister, standing is spin cycle, shielding is vertigo. Running is OTT, standing is headroom, shielding hold up, and then again here C stick, right L button. Running up and away, standing stick up, and shielding nosebleed. Woof. So yeah, and you got your sprint, shoot, random. Yeah, Y button is a random trick, sorry. And you got your high pass basically. Strafe, shield, L button, yeah. Oh, there's taunts. Oh, I never used the control pad, but that's good to know. You can do taunts in this game. That is sick. Oh yeah, around tricks, which are super cool. I love doing the around tricks around players. The wall tricks, I'm definitely still working on. Wall tricks, I think, are super cool. And I really, really wish something like Mario Strikers had that feature. I just think it's such a cool thing, and why not? It totally makes sense for soccer street rules or soccer in like an arena. Obviously, you're not gonna do it because there's like when the ball goes out and you gotta like throw it in like in FIFA and stuff like that in real soccer. But the wall tricks are cool, just deking it and just bouncing it off the walls. Cyclone, ounce of bounce. Ounce of bounce, I love it. High step, spinning grin. Oh, that's fantastic. And the around tricks have names too. Oh, here we go. The need for speed, spelled with a K for need. Squash and go. Twist 'em out. Schooled. Round the houses. Oh, I love it. That's fantastic. Style moves. Ooh, interesting. Give praise. Hot stepper. Forth and back. These are great names. I love that. Taunts. One-timers. Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole bunch. Defensive, yeah, so you just switch players and stuff to switch around. I found that switching players wasn't as easy as it should be for having only 3 characters in your team. A defensive midfield and a forward. Fine, when I'm trying to cycle through, it's not really going to the characters that I want it to primarily right away. And one thing you got to work on is like your passing is super sensitive. It's just like NHL, if you hit right trigger to pass the puck and you hit it again because you're getting impatient, and as that puck is already going and you hit right trigger again, it's still going to your other player, but it hits your other player, and since the game registered that you hit right trigger as it was traveling, it's automatically going to make that player pass it somewhere else, and it can really bite you in the ass. You really need to really play carefully. And I found with FIFA especially, it did a lot. When I was hitting A there and switching characters and then doing like my lob passes and stuff like that, I was really making those mistakes of just passing it and then passing it again. And it would go back down to my side of the field, and I think, oh no, it's not what I want to do. Not at all. But yeah, the game though, the gameplay, it's still great. There's no takeaways, and I feel like, as far as graphics go, it holds up. And the music, the soundtrack they got on here too, is pretty prime. I think it's hilarious that, it's just like all these crazy songs, and when you wind up and you're about to take a shot, the music stops, and it's like the anticipation, the build up, like what's going down, and then as soon as you touch the ball or it's back in play, the music kicks back on again, and it's like, it's super crazy. But it does such a great job at building up that intensity and that excitement, for a soccer game. There's lots of levels or places I got to unlock still. But you get a few maps that you can just start off with, which is pretty cool. Again, it's all based on, you know, trick shots. When I first started, I found myself when I was trying to experiment with doing that charge trick shot, I was looking too much at my bar, at the moves I should, you know, probably be doing and stuff, and I realized, no, just focus on the character and where you're going with the ball and where you're dribbling, not dribbling it, dangling it, deking. So if you're smart with it, you can definitely play around and try a whole bunch of different combinations. And I like too how you have the basic opportunity or ability to basically choose where you want to plant your shot. When you're holding B, you're about to take a shot, a little net pops up at the bottom, and you can actually, you know, pinpoint where you want to put that ball, you know, top shelf, bottom corner, however you want to handle it. And I really, really like that. I think it's a very nice little opportunity to do, because again, that's what I like about, you know, NHL, is the ability to pick. And I know it's there with the games like FIFA and stuff, but I think, you know, for an older game that came out, let's see, when did this game come out? 2005. So about the same year as Star Wars Battlefront. I think it's fantastic that they have those kind of features, and it's graphically, you know, it's not a terrible game. It's visually very, very nice and very, very quick paced. It's good. I'm trying to think what else I have that I can really say on this game. It is 4-player, which is great, even more fantastic. I love getting and collecting GameCube games that have more player capability, because I got a bunch of GameCube controllers, and when you got people over, GameCube is a great party console. It's great for all these games you got. Unfortunately, I got a lot of like single-player GameCube games. And that's okay, because a lot of them are just fantastic, but a lot of them also, they are 2-player, but I feel like, you know, there's not a large amount of ones that are 4-player. You know, you got your Mario Parties, Mario Karts, Mario Tennis, you know, all that stuff, which is great. You know, the classics are fantastic to be multiplayer, but it's nice to see that there are a few other games out there, like FIFA Street, that can go that full length of being like 4 players. There is another game that I have, which it depends. If there's ever a Steep 2 that gets announced, I'll throw this into the lineup for players' perspective. It's I won't say the name, but it's definitely it looks like a pretty good snowboard game. And again, it was at a secondhand store. I was like, $2-3 for this game? Why not? It's like prime condition, case, manual, everything. So why not? No reason not to. Let's see here, though. Back to FIFA Street. Win with style, global street venues, express your style with the trick stick. Charge your game breaker with tricked out moves. The world's best players in 4-on-4 matchups. Uses 4 blocks on the memory card. Yeah. This game, though, I definitely would recommend it. If you are like a seasoned FIFA player, you probably are already aware of this game. There is another one called, I think it was like NBA Street or something like that I'm kind of down to try. I really enjoy the NBA games. I thought, you know, they're kind of fun. They're very, very back and forth. You shoot to the get a hoop, and then it's back and forth and, you know, whatever. But I think there needs to be more of these kind of street-style games. I have no idea if there's like street hockey or NHL Street. That'd be pretty cool. I know there's no Madden Street, unless, well, I shouldn't say I know, because I actually could be wrong. If there's a Madden Street, let me know, because I'd be down to play football in like a little street area. That'd be sick. But yeah, these games are just, they're gems. The FIFA Street collection and everything like that. I had no idea there was a FIFA Street 3 on Xbox 360. I was actually in a pawn shop, and I was looking, because pawn shops always have a great collection of, you know, vintage games sometimes and stuff like that. So a little bit overcharged for sure, but you can definitely find a couple gems in there if you're really looking. So I remember I was in this one pawn shop though, and I was browsing around, and I found FIFA Street 3, and I was like, whoa, this looks like crazy intense. But it looked like really cartoony, and it looked like it was actually a toned down version of what FIFA Street really was. And if you ask me, I think FIFA Street 2 is like the praised, you know, best that this franchise will be. I don't think FIFA Street 3 really would have done it for me. That being said, I have to try it, play it. Just from what I saw in the gameplay and stuff like that, it didn't look overly too exciting. FIFA FIFA Street 2, though, is just, it's got such great momentum to it, and I really am looking to add it to my collection. But of course, when I saw FIFA Street 1, I knew I had to get it. I knew I had to try it out because, you know, it's FIFA Street. But yeah, the between all three of them, I would give this game probably, I would give it maybe like I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of a soccer player. The shoes of a soccer player. I would probably say it's probably like a 6.5 out of 10. And not that that's a bad rating, you know. I'm very happy with it, and I'm very much enjoying my time and the amount of money I spent on the game, $3. It's worth it. I would just, when I'm thinking about FIFA Street 2, this is on its own, so I gave that rating for itself. But FIFA Street 2, I would definitely put a little bit higher. You know, I'd probably put it like a 7.5 and 8 range on that. And I'm saying my rating for that because I probably won't do a review for FIFA Street 2. I'm just kind of sneaking it in here because they're very similar games, but number 2 has a lot more extra features and benefits that I thoroughly more enjoy. And I really want to go back and experiment with a lot more now that I've played with the first one. It can do a really good kind of comparison and feel out for it. But this is definitely, FIFA Street is one that I'm going to try and get thrown into the gauntlet because we've played so much FIFA Street 2. And it's awesome. I love the thought of, going back to the roots and playing like the OG, getting some different maps in there and just kind of different experience. And just kind of like some older style gameplay in there too, just to see how we fare up in the gauntlet. So it's definitely something I want to get thrown in there. But yeah, I would definitely probably give like an 8 to FIFA Street 2, and this one being a 6.5. FIFA Street 3, not going to comment because, or not going to rate because I haven't played it, so that would be very, very unfair. But it's definitely something that I will probably, put on my low tier bucket list, not my high tier bucket list of things that I'm going to try to get through. But yeah, so at the end of the day, if you find this game and it's literally like $3, buy it, play it, enjoy it. Why not? If you find FIFA Street 2 and it's $5, buy it. It's worth it. It's a great game. It's fun. If you're playing someone couch co-op, you're going to have a great time. The gameplay, it's very simple gameplay. The controls are very, very easy and very quick to understand what you're doing. And after like 1 or 2 games, you'll pick up on, the basic kind of rules and just like not the setup, but kind of just the tone, or what's the word? You can kind of pick up on kind of the vibe or the kind of routine that you need to kind of incorporate into this game to get the best out of and really enhance your gameplay and enhance your ability to properly win. If you can nail down all the trick shots with the gameplay in this, like, you'll be unbeatable. Because there's times too when you're doing a deke and the player you're deking around will like freeze up and you can't control him for a few seconds. Totally take advantage of that. There's so many awesome tricks you can do and you can't go wrong with it. So yeah, that's all I got for FIFA Street. I hope you enjoyed that short little review on that, and I guess FIFA Street 2 I'll throw in there because I kind of reviewed that as well. But yeah. So make sure, I'm going to shout this out now, our next episode number 4 of Player's Perspective, I believe it'll be September. If you're on Patreon, you probably will be getting it very, very much sooner than public. But basically, we're going to be checking into Luigi's Mansion on Gamecube. It's going to be super hype, and we're doing that because, I said that this would be September. No, this episode right now is the September episode, as I said at the beginning of the episode, because of FIFA. Luigi's Mansion is the October episode, because October 31st, ladies and gentlemen, is when Luigi's Mansion 3 is dropping on the Nintendo Switch. So that is why, in celebration, we are going to be doing a player's perspective on Luigi's Mansion, and I will be having Mr. Dylan Muss and Mr. Travis Snell co-hosting that episode with me. It's going to be a great time. Going to be diving into so much of like the OG Luigi's Mansion and what it's all about. And if you are listening on Patreon, so you're obviously hearing this early, be sure to check out, because closer to the release date of Luigi's Mansion 3. We're going to be live streaming Luigi's Mansion. It's going to be fantastic. So make sure you check that out. It's going to be super hype. Until next time, though, I am Taylor, and this is Player's Perspective. So I will see you in the search bar. Have a good one.